Hi guys!
Welcome
Resume
to
Sarge.
Sera and Sarge channel. And today we're going to talk about the fourth habit.
Of highly effective people.
Yes.
By Covey.
Great. So before we start, I would like to summarize the third one we did, which is called put first thing first. It's really about prioritize your tasks. So when you really know what you want, the first one was being proactive, and the second one was to begin with the end in your mind. And once you have those two, so the third one is then put first thing first. You have to organize, prioritize, and start with the most important to the least important, so that you can be able to achieve. And those three really deals with self-governance, or like a private victory. Then the fourth and sixth and the fifth and sixth, it's more about public victory. So today we'll be talking about think win-win, but I don't know if my husband has something to add from the previous.
Yeah, we'll put the link of the previous videos in the description. And we suggest that you go through those videos before you get to this one, so that you're caught up on everything. But basically, private victories are your victories which no one sees. And then there's the public victories, where all your work that's done privately will be shown in public. Like all the advancements you made privately with yourself, people will be able to recognize it publicly.
Yes, basically before you go publicly, you have to work on yourself, and that's the hardest part. And sometimes people want to start with public when you haven't worked on yourself, and you cannot really go far. So you need to start with yourself, and that requires more discipline than anything else. So as he said, go through the first three so that you can understand the fourth one we're going to cover. So the fourth one is called think win-win. So I will let my husband start.
Oh, basically, think win-win is you're thinking not just of yourself, but others in mind. Like, when you're in a situation, we kind of touched on it in the last video about you being an employer and having employees. You want it to be a win situation for your employees, the same way it's a win situation for you to be your employer. If you have a situation where you're winning, but your employees are losing, you're going to have, what is that?
You will end up losing.
Yeah, you'll end up losing, because you're going to have disgruntled employees who don't want to work for you. So you have to set them up to a win situation also. So you have to find a good balance on when it's time to be courageous and when it's time to have empathy as well.
Yeah, and like you have to think something that benefits both parties.
Yes.
If you are going into agreement something. As he said, you may be even an expert in one area, but you don't really know something else. You can be a good economist, but you're not really good at marriages or something. So in those other areas, you need other people. There's he says it's a win-lose. There's some people who go into like, oh my gosh, I can't even find this word I'm trying to, like you trying to negotiate, yeah, partnership, negotiation. Oh my gosh, I can't pronounce that one. With that like mindset that I have to win, no matter what is the cost. So I don't care about other person. I don't care about your feeling. It may be even when we talk about win-win, it's not only outside in a business, can be inside in your marriage, in your relationship with your kids or with your husband. It may be a situation where like you are discussing to do something, so it has to be win-win. So there are some people who just set their mind like, what I want, it has to be done, and you're not ready to cave in or to hear the other side. It's called win-lose. There's also other situations called lose-win. Those are the people who always want to please other people.
So you give up. You give up your value to please someone else. You have to go in knowing your worth and exactly that you're a benefit and not a liability. So when you go into a negotiation with someone, you know your worth and you know what they're getting from you, but you have to negotiate what you're getting from them. Otherwise, you're not going to be happy. You may be happy you found a job for a month or two, but the minute you realize, man, I'm doing too much for too little, you're going to be a disgruntled employee.
So basically what we're trying to say is that the best way to come out all of us victorious, we need to think win-win. So you have to have your share and somebody else needs to benefit. Both of you benefit from the deal. As I said, do not look into that only with the outside input. That's fine. Like when in any major role you're doing or any major event in your life, there's a situation where you may not agree 100% with whoever you are living with or your employee or any situation you may face. So always think about that winning. So what am I getting from that? What other person is getting from that? Do not be selfish, because at the end of the day, if you're just thinking about yourself, you're both going to end up losing. So instead of both of us to benefit from that, we both ending up losing.
You want to go into every situation with a mutual benefit. Because if you don't, and it's such a simple concept, but people you abuse this so often. Like, man, I'm gonna go in there, get this, and this. Like, your intent in this deal is to get as much as you can and give them as little as possible. And that's not a win-win situation, because eventually you're going to damage relationship.
Let me give you an example to really summarize what we are talking about, winning. I know there are a lot of relationships that get destroyed because of that issue. So you may I have been working so hard for this vacation, now it's time to go, and your other partner don't have something else comes up. So that's a situation where you can see them okay, we have been working for this so hard, so we have to if I have that mindset of win-lose, you can say I have to go, we have to go, make it impossible for other person to really do anything, but you have to put all
force it on them, you mean?
Yeah, basically, because I'm trying to let people know it's not only outside, it's a win-win. It's always it's in everyday life we live.
Yeah.
Because when you fail to compromise and have that mutual benefits, you both lose. But it's just a kind of a device in every situation. It can be in your relationship, at your work. So when you have planned for something for so long and something else come up, in those situations, that's where really you need to go with that a win-win. Try to put all the alternative on the table and see which one works for you and which one works for the other person, so that you can both come out.
Basically, you work together as a team. It's win-win. You have this area, you have this area. Like one time when she put me in a win-lose situation, she made me do the dishes. And when I did the dishes, I ended up in the hospital with, where was it? Here.
You volunteered to do that. I didn't ask you to do that. You volunteered.
I was trying
and
to be
you cut
sweet.
Yourself.
Yeah, so I cut myself. It was wide open too, and I had to go get stitches and all that because I put myself in a win-lose situation by doing the dishes. That wasn't my responsibility.
No, that wasn't lose. That was win-win. You just were trying to be nice to your wife. How is that win-lose?
Yeah, I was being nice to my wife and it cost me. Right?
Yeah.
But the good news is, and how I won out of this, is now I never do the dishes because I have an excuse. Right?
What that has to do with anything.
And how many husbands have this injury? If your husband has this injury, that is a good man. He's a keeper.
You don't need to to brag about yourself. I'm supposed to do that if you're good, okay?
Okay.
Not you. So, as we're closing this, I would like to leave you with this advice. In every day decision you make, always think in terms of win-win. So you don't want to be in a situation where it's always like a win-lose. You have to always give up your position, your values to please somebody else. And you don't want also to be in a position where you always never want to compromise or to come to the table and to look at other alternatives. You have to be somebody who's open-minded and looking at every solution possible, and in that case you can really get something out and somebody else can get something out. So do not really be that person who never compromise, or be somebody who always give up to please other people, because if you are people pleaser you will always be a loser.
And it's important to know that this is not, win-win is not a technique for manipulation, or it's a principle. So really it's a mindset. To live by that mindset is to do good business with people, to have good relationship with others. Because this part of the book, we have this misunderstanding of, oh, I want to be independent, I'm independent. Like we have this independent spirit in America where we just want to say how successful we are by declaring our independence. But in reality, success is when you learn interdependence, meaning you learn to work with others. You cannot go far in life without learning to work with others. You can see it from people, if you know, who are not good with others. Look around maybe your own life. If you know people who don't know how to get along with others, see how their relationships are. See how, and then on the other hand, if you know someone who's good with people, see how their life is and how vibrant and social they are.
Yeah, he just mentioned something which is like the last three habits is called interdependence, because the first one, remember, you are working on yourself. And we mentioned in previous videos that the hardest person to lead in life is yourself, because it's easy to say something, but it's hard to do it. So, but when you are able to really control yourself and discipline yourself, that's a part of your victory. So when you come up then in public victory, as we said, it's called interdependence, because you have to live with the other people. You can be a genius, but you cannot do everything. So you will always need some other people, and there's nobody who achieving big success without having other people in support. So that's like a mindset of like a win-win, and a win-win start with your daily living. It can from your relationship, at work, everywhere. You have to have that mindset. Always think about you and think about other people. Do not, as he said, we tend to just I want to be independent. I like an individualism, right? Is that how I say it?
Individualism.
Okay, whatever. Yeah. You got it. So it cannot really help. We are created as social beings. We are social beings, like human beings. So that's why you need to understand the principles that works. If it has been working for many people, it's always been working. And if you want to violate those principles, it's not going to work. You may end up losing and being miserable because you don't know how to mingle with the other people. But going there with your value, to never compromise your value, but also always value other people.
Yes.
In that case, you can see good in other people and see good in yourself, and then come to agreement of what is good and what is right.
Yes. There's many issues that we should be able to solve as a society, but we just can't learn to work together. So many things. There's really things that are simple that we make complex because we just can't work with others.
Mm-hmm.
So, as always, we thank you for tuning in to us. If you like this, please share it. with someone, help them learn these principles as we learn together. And we just say thank you, and we have some exciting news coming up. we're expanding our vision about the channel that we have.
Yep.
So we're going to have more type of content and more variety of content, but so that's why we've been planning, we've been doing our private victory before it becomes public.
Yeah, thank you so much, and leave a comment if there's something else you want us to cover. Feel free to, leave a comment there, and if you can just share which part really helps you or something you learned, that would be more helpful. And also, if you haven't subscribed, hit that red button, subscribe, so that you won't miss out the next exciting videos that are coming.
Yes. We love you. Thank you. Mzungu Sarge out.